Yo, welcome back to the No Hedging Podcast. I am your host, Ty the Jet. I got my co-host, Mr.
Rip 16 the GOAT, man.
And you know what it is. We're back with another episode. What is it, week 15?
That was week 16.
Week 16 recap, takeaways. We're going to break down some of the games that we saw, give you guys some of our, what we saw, some of our opinions, some of our thoughts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into
a lot of them.
Yeah, before we get into it, though, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can bring you guys more content. As we're winding down the NFL season, getting into the playoffs, we're going to start picking up and talking about a little bit more basketball, NBA stuff, and college football as well. So make sure you guys tap in, subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout for some of those videos that are coming soon. But without further ado, let's talk about it, man. What do you have to take away from week 16?
Week 16.
Week
man.
16.
My week. First off, I got to address the Denver Broncos as a staff, record label, and as a mother effing crew. All right? Sick of it. Never, all season, right? We done seen some games. We all understand, like, it's always a little hidden thing that Vegas got a little roll and some, some plays, a little call here and there. Should have called that, didn't call that, didn't review this, didn't review. I get it. I know what's going on. But never have I ever seen such a game that looked so fixed in my life. The Broncos looked like they were throwing the game, all right? And I say this because even the fans in the stadium were literally booing the play calls during the game. Why would you run and pass in the flat to your running back for like 5 drives in a row, right? And you're down in the second half. Nobody does that, bro. It didn't look right. The fans were booing. They was like, what's going on? Then all of a sudden, a few minutes left. Now y'all want to start passing down the field. Why you ain't been passing down the field, Russ? What sense do that make? It's a defensive game in the first half. Then they all of a sudden start getting these turnovers, script, sack, fumble, interception, punt, another turnover, and you still not passing the ball down the field? Makes no sense. Now, I haven't seen something look this bad since, unfortunately, the Falcons in the second half of the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. It was that bad.
Sound like it hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
This sounds like a man who experienced some pain and took a hit to the pockets.
It took a hit to the parlay.
Because you bet on them.
But not even that. Not even that, though. I can take a team losing.
I know that feeling.
I can take a team losing. I'm okay with a team losing. But it's how you lost, though. That was just bad play calls. And your coach is too fucking good to be making play calls that bad. I know. It's just something fishy. I ain't never seen a stadium boo people for a play call. What? When have you seen that?
It happens a lot.
Not like how, if you saw that game, not how it was happening in there. They were literally booing multiple drives in a row. They got kids crying in the stands and shit. It was terrible.
Philly was getting booed for the play calls they had against the Giants.
Not four drives in a row.
Yeah, it wasn't 4 drives in a row.
And Jalen Hurts was trying to throw the ball down the field. He was trying to make a play. The defense was stopping him. Just like Purdy against the Ravens. If you want to get into another takeaway.
Yeah.
Purdy was trying to push the ball down the field. But it wasn't going. The Ravens weren't having it. I wasn't mad at Purdy. I just thought the Ravens played phenomenal defense. Some of the best defense I've seen all season out of any team.
Well, these two teams were the top 2 defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
So one offense was going to feel the wrath of one of the defenses.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was obviously the less experienced quarterback in Brock Purdy. He felt the wrath of a Baltimore Ravens defense who were underdogs by damn near a touchdown, I must add.
Yeah.
With the same record, 11-3.
Yeah.
The best team in the AFC. and they were underdogs. So they came in there with a chip on their shoulder, and they said it before the game, right? Oh, man, we underdogs? I don't understand that. How? We both got the same record. How are we underdogs? Right. But they came in there defensively. They forced 4 interceptions on Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a couple of those were tip drills and probably not his fault.
No,
the first one was his fault for sure. When they were driving into the end zone, yeah, in the red zone, that was his fault for sure. But the other ones, you get a deflected balls, bad throw.
He threw it up.
You know what I'm saying?
He threw one in the flat though that got picked. He had a couple almost interceptions too.
His hand got hit. So that was the one where Patrick Queen took it back. Mm-hmm. But needless to say, he did. The interceptions happened.
It was good defense.
The defense was great. They were flying around. They were physical. They were getting pressure. They were rushing the quarterback. They was getting sacks. Jadeveon Clowney just made a comeback out of nowhere. He done been to several different teams.
Resurged.
Just came back to life. Back to life. You know the rest. So he's coming back. Hamilton is playing his ass off.
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton. Oh my God, knee injury. He was all right. I seen him laughing on the sideline on the bench, so he probably come back. They was blowing him out anyway. Yeah. But he's all over the field. That interception that he had, he got pancake, got sandwich, got chop block,
got
up, ran back, got the tip drill, got the interception. Phenomenal player. He's like 6'4", 6'5", playing safety, linebacker, whatever, just covering so much field. So that defense, that Ravens defense has been playing phenomenal, man. Like top of the league. They're playing like the Ravens of the past that we've seen.
See, but I wasn't mad at the 49ers in that, though. I wasn't mad at the 49ers because that looked like the Ravens are just playing defense so good that we can't really move the ball on them. Mm-hmm. And it's not off of bad play calls. Like, they tried to run McCaffrey when it made sense, and McCaffrey did break free a couple times. Yeah. He had over 100 yards rushing. I think he had like 102. And, you know, they start passing to him in the second half because they were down. That's what you do when you're down. You have to pass the football. Unfortunately for them, though, you're passing against the wrong fucking team because
that's what they want you to do.
They weren't playing around.
That's
what
they want you to
pass.
Yeah.
And they became a little bit one-dimensional in the second half. And by the time Purdy got hurt, it was kind of like it was already done.
Yeah.
It was already done.
But
Darnold didn't do bad, though.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, you got Action Jackson.
Yeah.
Big trust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lamar Jackson. This game, I think, took over his MVP voting for, to be the front runner for the MVP. Obviously, right? Because you got Brock Purdy, who's they was talking about was the MVP. Obviously, he's not an MVP anymore. In that race, in that discussion.
I mean, people have been saying that for the longest, but I mean, him going against a significantly stacked defense, and you see what happened.
Yeah,
Lamar was also going against a really good defense, and you see what he did.
Right,
and he did it by passing more than running because he didn't even have a huge rushing.
Nah, he had like 40 yards rushing.
He had like 40 something, which is pretty low.
Something light. Yeah. So Lamar Jackson, he was throwing the football. But when he did rush and ran and scramble, it was at the right times and the right moments. And then there was a couple throws, like he getting out of sacks, scrambling around, and then he's making throws down the field to complete for first downs and keep his drives going.
Keep looking.
So Lamar Jackson just showed the whole world why he's the MVP of the league. I don't care about Dak Prescott. I don't care about Christian McCaffrey. I don't care about Brock Purdy. That's all fine and dandy. But when you playing against top-tier opponent, top-tier teams, top team in the NFL, especially on the other side of NFC, on the road in a primetime game against two MVP candidates on the other side of the football, and you come out and you dominate and you show off like you did, and you win and you beat them in dominating fashion, it should be no debate as to who the MVP is.
Another very interesting stat, Lamar is like 19-1. Against
20-1.
Well, 20-1 now against NFC teams. So, I mean, if he can get to a Super Bowl, he has a history of dominating teams. The only team he's lost to is your New York Football Giants.
Yeah,
and that was during the regular season. So, if he can actually get past his own conference and stay healthy, then I think they do have a phenomenal shot and they probably Super Bowl favorites at this point. But they definitely gonna have to come with it again because the 49ers they're gonna want some smoke.
Yeah, I think he got a good shot. Last year it was the Bengals that kept them out of it, and he was hurt obviously.
Yeah,
in previous years it was Buffalo and Kansas City. Too. You know what I'm saying? So those teams aren't as good as they were then, and I think it's clear to see that obviously his team is the best team.
He has the best road right now. Mm-hmm. So I think if there's ever really a good window, I don't know what next season or the future holds, but the only time is the present, they say. So if there's ever a chance for them to win a Super Bowl, it's really this season.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs, and we can get into that takeaway. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs, I think everybody expects the Chiefs to come alive at a certain point just because we know their history and looking at them, and then the expectation is just at some point Mahomes is about to go crazy, Kelsey's about to go crazy, they're gonna make it click, Andy is gonna put together some type of phenomenal game plan, call some trickeration and some plays. The trickeration failed, okay? They did some loop-de-loop shit with a handoff fumble, and the Raiders picked that shit up and took it to the residents. All right. They was throwing 2 interceptions in 7 seconds.
No, one was
2 turnovers, scoop and score, and 2
and
turnovers in 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chiefs, I think we all expecting, at some point that the Chiefs figure it out and show up. But I just don't know if that personnel is enough to make it click this time. Like this time in particular, it's not enough. They're going to get their ass beat in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like the Raiders, they brought it, man. They brought it. Like every single play that Mahomes was taking a snap, nobody was getting open, and he is scrambling, looking for somebody to get open, and there just wasn't anybody getting open.
Right.
It's like everything was so difficult for them to figure out to move the football down the field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel bad because I really do like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Chiefs organization in general, like it's like they tried to puff their chests out and be like, oh, we don't need no receivers. He don't need no help.
Yes,
we good.
He
He good. We'll take these rookies. We'll take these guys from, fourth string guys, practice squad guys. We'll take the Giants' old garbage, Kadarius Toney. We'll take him. We'll take the other receiver from the Giants, Richie James. Like, we'll take those guys and we'll be fine. Nah, bro.
You won't.
DeAndre Hopkins was on the market. You could have got D-Hop. You could have got Nuke. You know what I'm saying? He was on the market. That would have changed a whole lot for him.
Yeah.
But,
they need a security blanket over there. They're molding Rashee Rice to be that guy. But I don't have that high of an expectation out of Rashee Rice. He just needs time to develop. I think he's developing into a good receiver, but he needs time. And you can't just run Kelsey every fucking play. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, he's aging, man. He's
aging. It's not gonna work. You can't do it every single play. I understand the Antonio Gates level type performance in terms of being a tight end. He's probably, at this point, greatest tight end ever.
Yeah, he is.
Sure. So I understand that, but at the same time, like you said, he's aging. And then also teams are putting together a damn game plan that's gonna work.
Yep.
Because if we can concentrate on this one guy, you don't have nobody else that can beat us.
Right.
I can one-on-one everybody else.
Yep, because they don't win one-on-one.
They don't win one-on-one battles.
They don't.
It's not going to work in the playoffs. That shit dead.
Mm-hmm.
You lost to the Raiders. If the Raiders was a little bit higher in the ranking, they really might be able to dethrone them for that number 1 spot.
They
the way they playing.
They
still in it.
If the Chiefs lose out and the Raiders win, the Raiders got a chance.
They got a chance. Yeah. So, no, bro. The Raiders have resurged, and the Raiders look like the best team in the division right now.
Yeah, and they play physical. It's like when Antonio Pierce took the job, he said, listen, we're going to get the ball we're going to play Raiders football. And what's that? We're going to run the football. We're going to be physical, and we're going to get the ball in our best players' hands, right? And that's exactly what they did. They were very physical. They were aggressive. They were attacking the Chiefs. They were relentless. Like they dominated the Chiefs that game and they knew it. You know what I'm saying? Even though offensively they ain't do much. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't move the ball either.
But they didn't have to with the defense doing that.
Yeah, defense put up 14 points. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
defense give you 2 tutties, you good.
Yeah,
you good. That means you just gotta take care of the football at that point.
right.
And they won, and it showed that the Chiefs have a problem that they cannot fix this season. That shit needs a strong offseason, and they need to retool the offense so that they can use their Hall of Fame level quarterback and give the man some actual weapons to use.
Right.
You see what Antonio Brown does for Jalen Hurts. He actually gives the man some weapons. He gives him a blanket. You can go to somebody in the second half and they fuck around and get 70-something yards receiving.
Right. One
Brandon
reception
Ayuk.
You're right.
People like that. You need a guy who can do that when the game gets tough.
When it
and
matters.
the Chiefs don't have that. They just don't. It can't be Kelsey all the time.
Yeah.
They wanted to be Kelsey, but I get it. You need somebody else. So
Yeah, I got another one. The Dallas Cowboys
I told you Miami was gonna
and the
win.
Miami Dolphins.
I told you Miami was gonna win.
Miami made a little statement. They didn't blow Dallas out, but they made a little statement that we can beat a 500 team.
Yeah.
Now, this was the battle of the front runner teams, like we beat up on the little under 500 teams and stuff like that. We can beat them up. Now, let's see who really the big dog between us, right? These are like the bully teams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Miami turned out to be the biggest bully. You know what I'm saying? It was just Dallas can't run the football, man. That's the problem. They cannot run the football. They turn the football over. Miami's defense played very well. I do understand Dallas had, some linemen out, offensive linemen out and things like that. But nevertheless, Tua played a pretty decent game. He played way better than I expected him to play, to be completely honest.
What was you expecting out of Tua, bro?
I expected Tua to be on his back 70% of the game.
They blocked really well for Tua, bro.
But the way that they play, the style of offense that they play, it gives him time to get the ball out so fast. And we talked about this, right?
It's like it off less than 3 seconds.
Yeah, by the time you get to him, the ball is gone. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle out there moving fast. And then Mostert was running the ball very well, even though he got banged up a little bit. But he came back, scored a touchdown, and the rest was history, man. I mean, Dallas, they looking real suspect.
They play defense.
They're not going to no Super Bowl this year. They're just not.
Well, I wasn't expecting that anyway.
No, they are. For all you Dallas Cowboy fans
fans expecting them to go to the Super Bowl every year.
This is not your year. I'm sorry.
I told you at the beginning of the season, the Falcons are our home team. I said the Falcons might make the playoffs this season. I'm thinking the Falcons going to make the playoffs, win the division this season, right? I said that at the beginning of the season. I never said they was going to a fucking Super Bowl with this team. I'm not that naive about my team. But, Dallas believes that they're going to win a Super Bowl every single season. And like we've been saying, they not.
No. They ain't built for it.
They not. But the run game is a huge part of it. But the other part of that, too, is, like I've been saying, Miami's defense has stepped up over the past 3 or 4 weeks. By the time they got Jalen Ramsey back and Xavier Howard playing on both sides, then they also got Chubb stepping up. They got some guys on defense. Van Gink. They got some guys on defense who really step up and go out there and play hard every game. And I think that's been a huge difference because they were relying so heavily on the offense. But now it's kind of like, okay, even if you do have Tyreek Hill out, you still got a defense that can get some turnovers, get some takeaways, and shut some plays down, get some 3 and out so you get the ball back. So now that you have more of an opportunity. And they still fast. You know what I'm saying? So they're not just an offensive team at this point in the season, which is great. Going into the playoffs, you need them to be clicking on both sides of the football. So I think that's a bright spot. I expected Miami to win that game. I understood completely why they were the favorite. They can run and pass and play defense. I mean, the only other thing is special teams. on a.
They're gonna get cooked in Baltimore next week.
You said they're getting cooked. Baltimore defense is different. Baltimore defense is different.
In Baltimore too.
They're gonna have a hard
cooked.
time on the road against Baltimore. Now,
Yes,
I ain't saying they that damn good,
Right.
but I'm saying that they are good, and they definitely are a strong contender in the playoffs, depending on who they come up against first. But I do like the Dolphins, and I completely understood what happened out there.
But, I mean, it looks like, the playoffs are shaping up. You know what I'm saying? We starting to see people starting to separate from the pack a little bit. Starting to see some positions getting solidified.
Let me ask you this. Who's your dangerous sleeper team in the playoffs right now?
Right now?
And that's if the playoffs start today, who's your sleeper team that's dangerous to go against first?
I think Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Yeah, I think Buffalo. You got your quarterback. They running the football. They've been playing pretty decent defense.
They are
even though they didn't show up against the Chargers like they should have.
They damn near lost.
Yeah, even though they didn't show, but the Chargers are playing inspired, right? Like we said, like your team is either going to do one or two things. They're going to quit even more, or they're going to play inspired.
They did that without Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
and without Herbert.
Yeah, they did.
They lost by 2.
Yeah, they did. They did. Nevertheless, even still though, I still think Buffalo is probably going to be one of those teams you don't want to face in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you got Josh Allen back there and they running the ball like they've been running the ball, I think they're one of those teams that, on the AFC side at least, they're one of those teams that you really don't want to face. I know you're probably leaning Browns.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know you leaning Browns because of that defense.
The Browns are scary.
Oh man. Amari Cooper, 260
That's what I was about to say. Amari Cooper. First of all, T. Higgins goes out for the Cincinnati Bengals. He gets 150 in the absence of Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. George Pickens says, "Hold my beer."
Oh yeah, hold on.
And he comes out and gets like 195.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper comes out and says, "Hold my pitcher."
Hold up.
And he gets 265. AFC what?
North receivers went crazy this weekend.
200. You got a receiver getting 260 some yards, which is absurd. The only person who I thought that might even be capable of doing some shit like that is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
but he's coming out getting 260 something with the guy who was basically retired at quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's the 5th quarterback. he's like the 4th. Is he the 4th or the 5th?
You got Deshaun Watson, PJ Walker, DTR, and him. He's the 4th.
He's the 4th. Okay. He's the 4th quarterback they've used this season. And this guy is coming out here getting over 300 yards passing multiple weeks, like from his couch. So I think they're extremely dangerous. The Browns are extremely dangerous. With that defense, you got a quarterback that's out here passing, getting 300 yards. You got a receiver that's capable of exploding for 260. Mm-hmm. You got serviceable running backs. You got they just play well. They'll alternate whoever in. We're forgetting that they're running with a backup quarterback and a backup running back.
Yeah, they got like they got like 2.
And they still clicking
with Ford and
Flacco.
No, the running backs Ford, Jerome Ford, and
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yeah,
and he's a backup as well.
Yep.
So this is what I'm saying. Like they're interchangeable with their pieces, but they're still clicking throughout the whole season, and the defense is anchoring it all because they just hum it. I think they're dangerous to play against.
The Browns are just gonna Browns to me, man. I ain't
seen them do it yet.
Yeah, but I'm like, all right. In the playoffs is different though. You go up against a Buffalo, you go up against a Chiefs team, you go up against somebody worth going against. Like, are we going to see that same performance from the Chiefs. Offense? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
trust the Chiefs. I don't trust the Jags.
Oh yeah,
and
of course
I don't
not.
trust the Bills.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't trust any of them. Like, you can't.
Bills pushing, man. They in a three-game win streak. They running their way into the playoffs.
The Bills are fighting, but the problem is they battling against teams that you're not supposed to be battling against if you're that dominant of a team. They're not supposed to be. I don't give a damn how inspired the Chargers come out. Okay? We're running with Easton Stick and without Keenan Allen, who has the most receptions out of anybody.
Sunday, man, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, no.
It happens. On the NFC side, though, I would say probably the Rams. Yeah.
Rams, for sure.
Yeah, I would say the Rams.
They dangerous. They highly dangerous because they got some good defensive backs over there who can make some situational football plays more than anything. But offensively, I think they just got enough weapons to distribute the football, and you don't exactly know where it's going.
Right. They got a lot of options. It could be anybody's day. Yeah, it could be anybody's day.
Puka could go off for 150, or Cooper could go off for 150, or Kyron Williams could run for 150.
That's been the key to the Rams' success. Like the fact that Kyron Williams came back from injury. Like ever since he came back, they've been rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like
they can run.
They can lean on the run game. He's physical, and he's getting over 100 yards a game recently. You know what I'm saying? Consecutively. So, when you're able to have a running game with that type of offense that they run, play action, you know what I'm saying? Heavy play action, zone scheme, outside zone scheme. Like, them boys just something different. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
Yeah, I think the Rams sneaky.
Who do you think is going to drop out of playoff contention that's in there?
Who's in there right now?
Because right now.
The Colts.
Do you think the Colts dropping out?
Yeah, the Colts.
The Colts going to lose out to who, though?
I think Pittsburgh probably find their way in there.
Okay. You think Tomlin going to get inspired enough after that win?
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh find their way in there. The Texans, I'm not sold on just yet because of that Tank Dell injury. Like, that really hurt them.
Yeah.
And then the Jags, like we talked about, the Jags, I don't think the Jags ain't been playing well in weeks, in a month. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see them turning that around. They not targeting their key receivers. Like ever since Christian Kirk got injured, they're a different team now.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know why. They're not running the football well. Have you heard about Travis Etienne? Haven't heard from him in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like Calvin Ridley is supposed to be the guy. He scored a touchdown last week, but he should be taking over that role. Yeah, it's not consistent. So I don't know what's wrong with him. He's turning the football over a lot. That offensive line is like this past weekend, they just got dominated. Trevor Lawrence is just making bad decisions. It's just terrible.
I told you about them Buccaneers, though.
Yeah, they came to play.
They came to play. Mm-hmm. And when they come up against a team that's equal or lesser than them,
they end up being on the right side.
They end up being on the right side of that W column. Yeah. Now, when they go against a stronger opponent, that's when they start having some struggles. But as the season developed, to their credit, they've had battles with some teams, even the 49ers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're pretty dangerous. They're in a pretty secure spot to win the division, I think.
Yeah, they still
we're
got
to see what they do against the Saints.
Yeah, they got to handle business. They still got to handle business.
But spoiler alert, I'm picking the Buccaneers to beat the Saints next week just because the Buccaneers are pretty dangerous, and they've shown me multiple times this season that when it comes to equal or lesser teams, they're going to win.
Mm-hmm. Baker showed that he's the best quarterback in the division.
I'm not mad at that statement.
He showed it.
I'm not mad at that statement. He's
on the NFC side, who's coming out? Let me see. Scroll down. Down. All those are locked.
Yeah.
Who's coming out? I think it probably stays the same, man.
It might not. Seahawks might, put together enough wins. I think the only person who has a shot of coming out is maybe the Seahawks, but
yeah, it's because they're on the brink of it. But I think
because of how they've been playing, it's been a little bit up and down. They have some tough opponents. They do play pretty well, but the quarterback changes and all that, make a difference. So, but yeah, man, I mean, those are essentially my takeaways. Yeah. I'm not sure if you had some other takeaways.
No, I think we hit the nail on the head, man. We went through everything.
But week 16 was crazy. Week 17 is still a lot to play for. I know it's late in the season, but you can't rest up yet. They got to stay locked in, just like y'all. Y'all got to stay tuned, stay locked in. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all keep showing us love so we can keep showing it back to y'all, man. Mm-hmm. I came into this week with a heavy heart, but, hopefully all of that energy just can be shifted into some phenomenal picks for week 17, man. So y'all stay tuned for the next episode of the No Hedging Podcast where we're going to give y'all the rundown.
Keep it locked, man.
And we're going to be back, man. Peace and love to y'all, man.
We out.
We out.